You're listening to Casual Alterations, a podcast by and for fans of Altered TCG. Here's your hosts, Kari and Ian.
Take on me.
Thank you for not making me sing the whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of wanted you to get up to the point where you go, oh, but
I'm not going to subject any of our podcast listeners to that note.
That one was a good one. I was surprised I got that one right away.
We might need to tone that down in the editing. Welkom, bienvenue, welcome.
Well, bonjour and welcome. Hello and welcome to Casual Alterations podcast. This is the least professional and most lore-y podcast about Equinox's TCG Altered. I'm Ian, and this is...
I am Kari, also known as the Tokens Lady. You stole my intro.
Did I step on your intro? Maybe you should step on my intro.
And he is Ian, my token husband.
Today we're going to talk about a bunch of lore things, especially with the new lore coming out, lore information about the Whispers from the Maze cards. We really enjoy sharing the lore with you here about these few cards and art pieces that we saw. You can follow us, support us. Please do so. How can you do that?
Well, we have a Patreon, fresh and shiny and new. We also have Etsy and Make Playing Cards where we sell my tokens. We also post on Blue Sky. Try to go for 3 times a day, sometimes more, sometimes less, whatever comes to us at the time, I guess.
I hope everybody is getting into their Tumult Championships this week. I participated in 2. You participated in 1. We both went on Tuesday night, and I took a trip down to Sioux City, Iowa. A long 5-hour trip. I took that with my son. Try to get to as many as you can. I am hoping to make 8. So tell me out there if you think you can make more than 8. If you are, I definitely am going to try to make 9.
I don't think I'll make it to that many myself.
No, you probably won't, but you'll be close. New cards for Whispers from the Maze. It's a little early, honestly. I did not expect to see them before PAX, but hey, that's cool. The first card we saw art for, Aoife. Kind of like Eva, but with an F there. And this is a character from Welsh mythology, Welsh storage. And it's actually a historical person.
There is a person in history who is named Aoife. Yes. However, Aoife, the card art that we've seen, is actually a familiar character in the Altered lore. For people who read the lore on the cards, Aoife is the Bravos Vanguard.
Yes. So what was Aoife in real world situation? Kind of the evil stepmother. Her sister marries Lur, who is a king in Wales. She dies, still has children to be taken care of. Lear, just like every good medieval king, goes
and finds a mom for his kiddos.
Yeah, who is the sister of his first wife, because you got to keep it in the family. And there's a little evil stepmother vibe going on there. So that's where that hits historically.
Yeah, I hope our Aoife isn't like that. We don't really know that much about who Aoife is as a person.
All right, the next one we've got is the guy on the elk being chased by corgis.
Surrounded by an army of corgis.
Yeah, this is Aron. Aron is the leader or the ruler of the underworld, the otherworld, basically it was called at that time. Also into hunting, magic, and specifically shape-shifting, which is kind of cool. This person supposedly could change their shape at will.
And even into a corgi, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps, yes. When Christianity came around to Wales, the character of Aron became the lord of the underworld. And those corgis that you see wonderfully there, those were actually hellhounds.
My choice is between going to hell with the demons and devils or going to hell with an army full of fluffy corgi butts. I'm going to follow the fluffy corgi butts all the way to hell. That's how it's going to go for me. So, if you want me to go to heaven, you better be bringing dogs. That's what I'm saying.
All dogs go to heaven.
Yeah.
The third one we got is Daedalus with the maze robe. The art has Kojo in it, it looks like, and possibly someone else with white hair. We're guessing it might be maybe Sigismar or Aphanas, something like that. Could be.
Well, and it's a low resolution image, so it's hard to tell on zooming in. It could be a cowboy hat. I have no idea. There's something white on the top of this person's head. We have no idea who it is, but giant Daedalus has this person in his hand and is looking at him. I honestly, Daedalus is so extra. Like, his hat and his robe are covered in the maze, but also if you zoom in, so is his beard. His beard is a maze. Like, yeah. This man is 100% labyrinth everywhere. I bet if you could zoom in on his eyes, his irises would probably have a maze pattern too.
So Daedalus is from Greek mythology. I say mythology, but more stories, I guess, than mythology. A leader of Crete, builder of the maze in Crete. I believe there is some story too about him capturing the Minotaur and putting him in the maze.
My understanding was that the king was it King Minos? The king of Minos or whoever put the Minotaur in on this island and asked Daedalus to build the maze to keep him contained.
That's right.
Which, of course, Daedalus did because he's very good. But what he failed to do was build from the inside out. As anyone who's ever painted or tiled a floor knows, you don't start on the outside and work your way to the middle, because then where do you go from there? Not everyone can build themselves a set of wax wings to fly away from their maze. But Daedalus, of course, also famous for being the father of Icarus, who doesn't listen to his father and paid for it with his life.
People that didn't, Daedalus builds a family of people who don't actually think through their decisions.
Yes, genius engineers, not so genius on the project planning.
So we have another one, Ariadne.
Yes, also linked to the Minotaur.
How is that?
Because Ariadne is the fiance or lover of Theseus and helped him to escape the maze by giving him a string to help lead him out after he defeated the Minotaur.
Daedalus had just brought a string.
Yeah, after which, of course, Theseus ghosted her, which, rude.
Yep. I saved your life, dude.
He's like, cool, see ya.
All right, and then there's Silas, the warlock, which actually, that's all we know if we just look at this. There is nothing in English in Wikipedia for this.
Yes, people have been talking about Silas in the Discord for some time. Silas is rumored to be the guy who was controlling the Kraken. We found a French site that talks more about him. He was, of course, named in the story Parasites, the lore story, is where we finally learned his name. That was published back in December.
And before that, we learned about him from Aphanas' story.
Yes.
Because well before this, so some 50 years back in the time frame when Aphanas is learning his skills, he meets Silas, but not as Silas.
No, I don't know if he knew what his name was. I think he just called him the man in the mask or the man in the...
Because he does reveal that his name is Quinnen. It's Quaane. I would say Quanen. Quanen?
Quanen? Whatever.
We'll say Quaane.
It's not his name anymore, so...
Individual with chrysanthemum robe. Basically, Quaane does teach Aphanas a few things, but is a very old person at that time. So somehow, Quaane becomes Silas, a younger person. So is this the same person, or is it a shapeshift of some sort, or?
You'd have to go and read the lore story, Parasites, to understand a little bit better.
Okay, and what happens in Parasites?
Parasites, we meet someone who turns out to be Saskia, approached by someone who calls himself Silas, and we find out that these are, in fact, two very old people who seem to be changing their bodies somehow, perhaps possessing other people, younger people, in order to keep themselves alive.
Weird.
We also know there are others but we don't know who those others are.
So Ysmir is starting to show their true colors here.
Saskia is a Muna.
Yeah, I know,
which
but
I'm ashamed
Saskia,
to say as a Muna myself.
but
Yes, so there.
Silas is.
Silas is. We know that Silas is Ysmir, and we also know he's out of faction in Ordis. So on brand.
So the last one we got art for is a Sap Sniffer. I was going to say Snap Siffer, but a Sap Sniffer. A tough one to say. It's some kind of bear that really likes honey.
He looks like a mole to me.
You think he's a mole?
Yeah.
I like the ears.
He doesn't have ears. He
what
has
are those things
long
on
claws?
Those circles on the back of his head?
Well, those are clearly Keelon cylinders.
Ah.
This little guy is obviously an Axiom critter.
It is. Yes, absolutely.
Yep, 100%. In the artwork, we see a bunch of yellow goop oozing out of some crumbled pieces of maize, and he's just diving in. Like, yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on more of this stuff, whatever it is. Sap. Obviously, based on the name. Yep. But from what, we don't know.
We also saw the triptychs. So there's going to be one of these in each factions. The first one we saw was for Bravos. This was the pastry chef, the junior chef, and Hestia. And Hestia is a Greek god, one of the 12 major deities that was in Greek mythology, home and hearth, and also family meals. So this is why we're seeing them making food. They also presided over sacrifices. So as a Ysmir player, I hope Hestia has some sacrificing ability that allows you to add some boosts or something.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Magic, obviously my first thought is food tokens. Which, if you're not a Magic player, I'm sorry for the outside reference. But immediately I'm thinking about how I'm going to make stained glass food. I don't even know.
Just a cornucopia of some sort, right?
Yeah. We'll figure it out if it happens.
We did have 2 new abilities too. The passive support ability, which I think you mentioned was like Seasoned, and Scout, which we have heard from other people, and just reading Loki's comments and other people that we know that have seen the set. There is Axiom help on the way, and this Scout card looks like an exact example of what they need.
The Scout ability that we've seen is on the card Aoife Fire Avatar. The card itself, of course, is a 5 from hand, 5 from reserve, 5/4/5. The Scout ability costs 2. It says you may play me from hand for 2 with from hand, send me to reserve. Similar to how the Machine in the Ice works. When you play it, it goes to your reserve instead of staying in your expedition. But it does hit the expedition first. So you will still get any enters the expedition triggers. So if you happen to have something in your expedition that gets bigger when things enter, or makes a token when things enter, that is going to happen first before it goes away. So that's cool. It's sort of, you have the option of playing it for 5 from hand, or instead of playing it for 5, you can scout for 2 to send it to your reserve. You'll still get some of your triggers and abilities. You'll have an extra card in your reserve if you need that. I'd like to think this card is going to be out of faction in Axiom. It seems like a perfect fit for what Axiom tries to do. We don't know for sure what the out of faction is for this card, but that's where I'd like to see it.
Absolutely.
So that Scout ability, of course, Aoife in Bravos also works really well with the support ability on the other card that we were shown, the Pastry Chef, which has a support ability while it's in your reserve. When you play another character, the Pastry Chef gets a boost up to a max of 3. So you play your Pastry Chef turn 1. It goes to your reserve. While it's sitting in your reserve, the next turn you scout Aoife. You pay 2, she comes in, you get a boost on your Pastry Chef in reserve, and then Aoife goes to your reserve also.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're kind of a combo.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a combo, and I like that idea. I like that they've revealed 2 cards that already we can see how they're going to work together, sort of bringing us into the flavor of the next set.
All right. Well, let's get into our last topic for the day.
Okay, so the last card that was revealed, something that Loki has been hinting about since forever, basically since the set was revealed, the Hunger.
So the Hunger has an art of an evil guy with some long arms and big hands, possibly have some gold on one of his hands, and in the foreground is Lindaway with Maw, either casting this or probably fighting the Hunger. So what does the Hunger do?
It eats everything. So when you play the Hunger for 9 from your hand, discards all other cards that are in play and all other cards that are in reserve. So every character, every permanent, and every card in every reserve is discarded. And it also says, when a card goes to the discard pile, I gain a boost.
So probably that's where the gold is coming from. And so in a reasonable board situation, this is going to be a 9-cost card. So you're not really going to be able to play it on your turn. It just doesn't make sense to play. You'll play it when you're playing first player. You will play it as a second player card, probably play a 1-drop beforehand, hoping that you can bait out another character from your opponent, or even a 1-drop magical training or something like that. And then you play this to hit the board as heavily as you can, wipe it, and with the best possible situation, you'd probably be looking at 2 of your opponent's permanents, 2 of their characters, 1 of your characters, and 1 of your own permanents. It comes in as a 9/9/9 in that situation.
Yeah, plus maybe there's cards in reserve.
Oh,
if
yes,
you're
in
playing
reserve,
against
too.
Axiom or Lyra, this card is a beast.
Yeah, because it counts those cards too. So yeah, you could actually see this being a 12/12.
It might be. Yeah.
And from reserve, actually, it is not bad. A 3 for a 3/3/3 is strong for Ysmir late in the game. It is something that you can easily throw up there just to be a body on the turn after you play it.
Yep, it's a heavy cost, but not for nothing.
No, it's definitely more of an Acacia card as opposed to anything else, although it probably could see play in place of Winter Nova. Not anywhere else, I don't think. In terms of draft, this is definitely a card that you probably pick up one of if you see it, just to have it and make sure no one else has it.
yeah, for sure. Whatever you're trying to do, you don't want this to undo it.
In sealed, though, I think this is actually a usable playable card.
I think it could be. And I'm sure there will be people who will build bomb constructed decks around it.
But
I feel
not
like
2, only
no,
1.
I
can't see you putting 2 of these in your deck.
I don't know. 9 is a lot.
Well, once you wipe the board, you don't really need to do anything else.
Yeah. I mean, and it's late enough in the game. Probably this wins it for you.
Well, you would hope so. You hope that this is a game changer and game winner.
Yep.
Well, and that's it for this week. So thank you again for listening to us. And we're hoping that you're going to have a great week.
Yeah. So like I said, this is a podcast. So support us, rate us, tell people you like us. Tell us you like us on Blue Sky or anywhere else.
Yep. Find us on the interwebs under Casual Alterations, no spaces.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great one.
This has been Casual Alterations Podcast. For more information, please visit us at casualalterations.wordpress.com.